My mom was diabetic. It was very okay, really. She didn't really have any issues. She cooked chapati the night before, she ate and went to bed, and the rest is history. She woke up and she never woke up. That's basically what happened. But then when you start being so grateful and so thankful for those moments and those opportunities, you realize how gratitude takes you out of the
Welcome to Abby's Coaching House, your home of transformation. Always beautiful having you here. So today is a beautiful day where we get to just meet and talk. And we have been on this beautiful life-transforming gratitude challenge, the 40-day gratitude challenge. We are on day 19 today. What an amazing journey. And part of this is just bringing guests onto the channel and just bringing them to speak to us on different topics that will empower us and just make us grow as a person. So here, this space is just about growing. It's just about becoming better versions of ourselves. And so today I get to have my dear sister Claire. Claire, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we have been with her. I'm sure you've seen her. We've done interviews together in her channel, and I have been talking about them here as we did the intermittent fasting challenge. I think we are challenge ladies. So we are up to challenges because even now we are doing a challenge on her channel, which we will mention as we go on. So Claire, welcome to this.
Thank you so much, Abby. I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. My name is Blessed Abby. I am a transformational life coach. And this is a journey I began 3 years ago where I underwent inner transformation which transformed my life for the better. And so I decided to be a contributor to the society by just speaking to people, getting people empowered. So my joy is just seeing people getting to the best versions of themselves. So that's what we do on this channel. We just speak about transformation, mindset. Mindset to me is everything. If you have everything you need, but your mindset is a mess, then something is wrong. You're still going to lag behind on your steps and your goals in life. So that's me in a nutshell. But it's not about me today. Today it's about my sister Claire. So Claire, tell us about yourself.
Great. Thank you, Abby. My name is Claire, as Abby has already said, so I don't need to repeat myself saying that. I am a born-again Christian. I love Jesus. He's all that I have and I live for. I am a wife. I am a mom of a 6-year-old. My son challenges me as like a 60-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I just love that dynamics of being a mom and having so many different hats on me. On a day-to-day basis, I am a lecturer, so I teach in a local university in England, where I've been for a couple of years now. I love exercise. That's hence why you'll always see me in sweatshirts. Abby told me we're doing like today we'll come on and do these together, but I was like, I'm just gonna wear me and be like the exercise person in me. So hence the reason why I'm the way I am today. I enjoy myself. Things like I know you'll ask me later, but let me just do it now. So when I have a minute, you'll always find me either I'm running or coming back from a run or about to go for a run. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think we can call you our gazelle because the way you run, how many kilometers? 10 kilometers, 13 kilometers, that's amazing. I think that
I do that not every time, but weekends are usually days for runs,
Yeah.
for long runs. But today I haven't been for a run because where we live at the moment, it's been really wet. So this week it's been indoors, trying to do indoors workouts, and which is not something that I'm great at, obviously, because all my time I invest in learning how to run and be outside. But all the same, we are grateful.
Yeah, I have actually noticed that you changed from running to doing indoor workouts, because personally I do lots of indoor workouts. So recently I started going to the gym, something I did last 13 years ago. So it's a milestone.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. But then apart from running, what else do you do for fun time when Claire is not at home or at the university? What else do you do?
I love listening to music, so it's one of those amazing things that I do. And I mean, once in a while, depending on the mood with my boy, we love dancing. We can just break into dances here and there. That's how we let go of the cares and struggles of life. What else do I love doing? I mean, I know it's not a hobby, but I love prayer. I just can sit down and just spend time and ages just I love just spending time with God and just talking about stuff and sometimes listening, really. That's part of what I love, really.
Wow, amazing. Those are great hobbies. And being connected to God is actually one of the things that is primary. Because if you don't have the vertical connection, as we used to call it actually messes up everything else. So just for our viewers, Claire is my friend. We met in campus many years ago, as we spent 4 years together. But then we got, life happened and we got separated for many years. Then we got to catch up again. So now we are doing this together. This is why she's here. We plan to do so many other things together. So now, Claire, we've been on a 40-day gratitude challenge, which I know you've been a part of. And I've seen you comment, I've seen you say that you're enjoying it. What's the place of gratitude in your life?
Wow, that's a good question, because when you're thinking, for me, I think about life as a gift, and everything that I have in my life, I feel like I have been given a gift. And being a mother myself, anytime my son, I do something or somebody does something to him, I always encourage him to say thank you, isn't it? That's what we teach our children. That's why, like, when I teach and I finish my class and I feel like I've done a good job, students will say thank you, because that's what we learn and that's what we teach our children. We teach everyone. I remember when I was growing up with my late parents, they would always encourage you and say you have to be grateful for everything. And I feel like all blessings that we have, for me, that's what I usually say, all the blessings I have in my life, honestly, they are a blessing from God. Because I feel like He blesses us with every good gift. It just makes sense for us to be grateful. And for me, gratitude is a place of like coming back to be thankful that I can have a roof over my head. Not everybody has a roof over their head. I can wake up in the morning and go to work. Not everybody has a job. I have a family. Not everybody has a family. I can have food on my table. Those mundane things that you look at them and think they are obvious, they are normal. And what the things that Abby has been challenging us through the whole of these 19 days to be grateful for. We have bodies that can take us from A to B. There are people that cannot move. I have just been I read a message from a dear friend of mine telling me of a sister-in-law who's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and it's really like advanced and things like that. But when you wake up and you can be able to breathe unaided, you can be able to go to work, you can drive a car. Not everybody drives a car and things like that. So for me, I find that I'm so grateful for the many little things that people can be like, that's really obvious. Yesterday, it rained so much where we live. And my son was we were preparing. I was taking him to school and was telling me, "Mommy, look at those kids in the rain walking to school." And I said to him, "You know what? You should be so grateful to God that you're not going to walk to school because you're going to have a lift to go to school, but never ever take it for granted that you get to go to school in a car, because not everybody has a car, number one. And number two, I said to him, I said, remember, that could be you. You could be the one walking in that rain heading to school, because it's not automatic that you get to be taken to school in a car." And for me, there are those simple things that can look like, obviously, you can afford to buy yourself a decent meal. How many people go to bed every single day without a meal? As we are speaking, Abby, somebody on the globe is dying because of malnutrition. And then you have food enough to spare, and you'll be complaining and saying, why did I not have meat when I could have, I've only had vegetables to eat. Somebody will be dying to have the vegetables rather than dying at the end of the day, So for me, it's seeing those simple things and being able to kind of go back and say, it's not just like normal that I have these things, but because I have been given, it is possible that they can also be taken away. And so that's how I approach life, with gratitude, to be like always constantly thankful that I get to have the things that I have.
Wow, amazing. And I love the fact that you mentioned that you're teaching your son gratitude. I have said in one of the videos in this channel that 3 things my parents taught us was the three phrases. They always insisted that we say thank you, please, and sorry. If you didn't say those words at appropriate times, you would be actually caned for it. And I remember where I was working, this lady, I kept saying thank you for very little things. You help me, I say thank you. And this one lady, she was an intern, she told me, "Why do you keep on saying thank you? What have I even done? I haven't done anything to deserve a thank you from you. Why did you have to say?" And so I told her, for me, saying thank you is such an important thing. It's not, I don't take anything, the little things that you do. And I think that's the attitude we bring to the challenge, where we focus. Actually, the key words here have been focus and choice. Because it's a choice. Sometimes things that surround us may look like they will dictate otherwise, but then we don't allow them to make us be complainers and just shift into a low mood. So it's about choice, and it's a great thing that you are actually choosing your son to say thank you, and also choosing to walk the lifestyle yourself. That's amazing, and thank you so much for being part of this challenge. You are such an encouragement. So now,
you're welcome.
Yeah, when we were in campus, you pursued a different degree from what I see you doing now. You are doing, was it animal production?
We can say animal science or animal production, whichever is completely the same thing.
Yes, but now you are a registered nutritionist. What happened in between? Tell us about the journey.
You'll be surprised to realize that when I was in Egerton, actually I was going to go, I had registered to go back and do a master's in animal nutrition. So I went back, and obviously at that stage, my brother was doing his Form 4. That's what we call them days. And my dad was retired at that point for sure. And here we are a big family, even though my mom and dad are no longer here, but we were a big, really, really big family. And so when I went to Egerton I wanted to do the master's, I needed to pay the fees. So I went back home and I said to my dad, I have got an admission to go and do animal nutrition, because I always loved nutrition for sure. And because the way my course was structured, if you look at even like those grades in nutrition, I used to score like 90s and like really high scores in nutrition, because I just loved it. And there was one of my teachers I think she was called Dr. Mbula or something, like I can't even remember the name, Joyce. And she was an animal nutritionist, and she really used to challenge me, and I was like, I want to do that, I want to be like her. So when I went home and told my dad I've been given admission, to go back and do a master's, but I need to pay fees. He looked at me and said, I love that, my daughter, that you want to do that, you want to go back and study, but at this stage, you've just finished your undergraduate and I've supported you to do that. I've got your younger siblings that are coming up that I think I need to also help them to kind of come up along and also study like you. Of course, I was a bit disappointed in a sense, but I also understood because at that stage, him being retired, he took early retirement and was going through like also some health issues. I thought, well, he's really justified. So I went, I deferred my studies and I went back. I went to Nairobi. I was living with my elder sister. She's really played so much roles in my life and has really, God has used her in so many ways to help me get to where I am at the moment. So then I went to her, I lived with her for a little while, and in that process, as I was still with her, thinking of what am I going to do in between, I got a job. So I was working on a farm in Kilifi, the coastal part of Kenya. And in between that moment, God started working behind the scenes. To cut the long story short, so I got like a scholarship to study and do a master's degree in the United Kingdom. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But because of the nature of training that I had gotten from Egerton and the fact that I was going back into nutrition, though it was animal, and you'll be surprised to find out that there's no much differences. Animal nutrition and human nutrition, even most of the studies that they do, they do them on animals, obviously for ethical reasons, and then they can do like kind of in a way upscaling them or making them relevant to humans. So when I came over to study nutrition and food science. So for me at that point, it was the first time that I'm getting into food science, and I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting. But when I was doing animal science, we will be doing, let's say, dairy production. It will do the whole course from the way that you rear the cow, it becomes pregnant, and then it gives birth to a calf, and then you milking and things like that. But when I was doing my master's, they were looking at milk production, and I'm like, I know the whole thing, So during my studies, honestly, to God's glory, I didn't struggle at all, because it was like, for me, God was really behind the scene preparing me for that. So then after I finished that, it was like, food science is really so amazing. It's so incredible. It's something that I would love to pursue. And so like one thing led to the other. I went and did a PhD, and here I am. I was like, well, it doesn't make much sense for me to continue doing animal now that I've transitioned into human. And honestly, I love it, and I will continue to always love nutrition, whether it's animal nutrition, human nutrition. As long as it's nutrition, that's for me for sure. Wow, sorry, it took me too long to explain that.
It's a long journey, so it's actually worth the time. And congratulations, that's a real determination. One thing I know about you is that you're this very determined person. When you choose to do something, you give it your all, you give it excellence. And that's one of the things I really love about you and admire in you. So to our viewers here, Claire runs a YouTube channel. She's actually my older sister here on YouTube. So just show her some love. Subscribe to her channel. Her channel is Nutri-Food and Total Wellness. Yeah? And then just show her some love. Subscribe to the channel. Follow that channel for so much on nutrition, so much on exercise. She's actually doing live exercise, things that you can follow. So if you're looking for fitness, that's a channel to follow. So I will link it on my description box below for you to just find. Now, let's switch to something else. We will be doing this more, so we will talk about nutrition more. But today we are actually just knowing more about you, so touching on different areas of your life. So recently on your YouTube channel, I saw you share a beautiful 6-year weight loss journey. And one thing I remember is that when we met again online on WhatsApp, I think, and you told me your weight was just beyond what you really wanted, and you couldn't even share, a photo of yourself. You told me, I cannot. I think at that point you're feeling like this weight is just something else. But now here you are sharing it on YouTube. So that's a great, great transformation. So please share with us that story. It's just an interesting story.
Oh, well, I mean, I think we all have those moments in our lives, isn't it? So for me, I've always been, I remember when we were in Egerton, like I've always been a size 12. Like I got married and long story short, I continued being a size 12. And then when I came over to the UK, got to a point that, I mean, it was much more like you're telling yourself, you know, I have been given a scholarship to study. I want to give it my best. I want to show appreciation. So I want to work so hard. And then I gradually started neglecting my nutrition part of things. And then eventually I realized I was just like ballooning. And I was like, oh, no, Claire, you can't do this. So I ended up working through and everything and went back to my size 12. Lo and behold, I had my son in 2017, which is a transition that women, we go through. And it's a great, beautiful journey that I can never exchange it for anything. And I'm so forever grateful to God that I get to be a mother to somebody. So when I had my son, one, I was so determined, I'm going to do breastfeeding. I was like, I'm not going to do, I mean, I'm not judging anyone. If you decide your journey is formula feeding, for sure, do what is best for you. And so I was telling myself, I was like, I really have to do this. Come rain, come sun, come sunshine. And so my husband, bless him, he just kept on like pumping me with food, saying like, you want to breastfeed, you need to eat well. So I was eating well and I was feeding my son well, which was amazing. But then obviously, given that I was home on maternity leave, I didn't go much outside. I was just constantly in and constantly like zero grazing. That's the best way I can really define what he was doing. Before I realized I was this big. Literally, I had gained so much weight.
Wow.
And I was like, how did I even get here in the first place? And so in that moment of thinking, how did I get here in the first place? I was literally feeling like, oh, I'm going around. I'm wondering what's happening to me. I was thinking, what is it really that has happened and got me where I am at the moment? And so because of obviously my nutrition background and my sister, so one of my other sisters, I will forever be indebted to God for her, because I will never talk about my weight journey without talking about her. So she was the one who was telling me, Claire, you've done this before. Why can't you work back? So we were like kind of in a way encouraging each other. So I started off literally because of my weight. And this is something that I'm telling somebody who's watching this, and maybe you're having a little bit of more weight than you want to have. Don't just go and say, I had Claire saying she runs, and so start running, because you will injure your knees if your weight is a little bit on the higher side. So I started going back into just like walking. That's all I could do because I couldn't do much running. And then I bought myself a stationary bike. So I used to bike in the house. And one of those, you can see that in that little clip that I posted, one of the videos where I'm sitting and watching like in the window. I was doing like stationary biking. And as I'm going through all that process, gets to a point I'm like, okay, started losing the weight over and over again. And I didn't do drastic because I really wanted to still do my breastfeeding, and I didn't want too much exercise, which could also impact on the quality of the breast milk and things like that. And slowly by slowly going back into cutting down a little bit on what I'm eating more nutritious, healthy meals and things like that. And yeah, the rest is history. That's hence I am where I am at the moment.
Wow, I love this story, because when you share, you please tell us how many kgs you began from. I know in UK you call them pounds, here we call them kgs. Where did you start and where are you now?
So I was 95 kilos. That's a lot for my height, because I'm quite a very short woman. And currently I'm at 63 kilos.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. Because when you talk of motherhood, my last one, who is now 2, actually, when I was pregnant, I got to like 100 kilos. I was so big. And then after having him, I got to 90. And so I had to walk a journey also. I started with house exercises where I just followed YouTube. but then I felt like it was a slow one. So together with my husband, we started doing evening runs. After work, we would just do evening runs, especially that season where we had the pandemic season. So we started doing the evening runs, and I kept losing weight. And here I am today also, just enjoying where I am. I really can't get to 63. I am taller. So my ideal weight is about 68. So right now I'm at 71. Still working.
Wow.
And I love it. I love my weight loss journey, because even the Bible tells us our bodies are temples that we need to take care of. So,
yeah.
And then we also need our bodies in our old age to look great. So, and just to be healthy, not even beyond looking great, just to be healthy, so that we are more flexible and we are here for a longer time for our loved ones to actually lead us. So now, today, being our day 19, we are challenging ourselves to focus on gratitude in relation to our past painful times or hard times. And one of the things I know that you've gone through that was hard, I remember I didn't know about the loss of your mom when it happened. But when I saw you just put up a profile picture of your mom, most of the time people do that, and then I thought, what's happening? So I remember I asked, and you told me, and I know that is something that was not easy for you. But then as we talked, I remember asking you to try focusing on the positive side of your mom and what you're grateful for about your mom and her life when she was here on earth. And we really didn't get to talk about the exercise and how it went. This is now the opportunity. Please tell us, how have you, because when I see you now, I am not sure about where you are in the healing, because it's a process. And to anyone who is going through that, it's a process where you have to be really patient with yourself. Losing a loved one is not. But could you share with us how it has been for you and what you're grateful for looking back? And I also know it has backed something great in you. So let me not be a spoiler. Just share with us the story of this thing that happened. It's not a positive one, but then it gives back to something beautiful later on.
Yeah, so I'll try to be very quick with it so that I don't take a lot of time on it, and I'm happy to come back another time and talk about it. So my mom was diabetic, so she had diabetes obviously, and it runs in their family. And so she was very okay, really. She didn't really have any issues. She cooked chapati the night before, she ate and went to bed, and the rest is history. She woke up and she never woke up. That's basically what happened. And obviously, having been away from home and having heard that, that dreaded call that you're waiting, you're never wanting to hear about it, and you're I don't want to ever be called to be told somebody has passed on. And having done that journey just 6 years before then, when my dad passed away, waking up in the morning, but for him we knew it will happen anyway because he was a bit unwell. And then now waking up in the morning and my sister's Mom has died, literally just like that. And it was really devastating and heartbreaking thinking about it to date. I can see the flashback of everything. And obviously, when you have a smartphone or any type of Google Photos, it always brings you back memories and it brings those videos back, flashbacks and things like that. So when I came back from the funeral, I was really going through a hard time, and I was talking to you, Abby, and just saying to me, maybe why can't you just do a journaling and every single day just write down a couple of things that you are grateful for your mom? So in the beginning, it was kind of just, those, she took me to school. She woke up, she get back to me. But then it gets to a point, you're I'm a strong believer of your why, your inner why, 7 levels of why. To go to a point, I started thinking about the sacrifices she made for me to go to school. The times when, if things were not working well, I'll be on the phone call asking her. The times when she literally sat down and taught me what it means to be a woman. The times, all those kind of things. I remember she was my vetting officer. When somebody came to me wanting to love me, I would say, if you pass the vetting test from my mom, then you'll qualify to be a husband, or at least not even husband, to be a boyfriend, then we'll grow it. Even my husband literally had to go through that vetting process with my mom. And now you're feeling up at your place, you're like, I've lost confidence. I've lost everything. But then when you start being so grateful and so thankful for those moments and those opportunities, you realize how gratitude takes you out of that. And of course, I want to say this to somebody who might be listening to this and going through a mourning period. Grief comes like waves. Sometimes it can be like just a simple wave and you ride on it and you're gone, and sometimes it comes like a tsunami. I'll be lying to you to say I've completely gone through the grieving process, even though it's been more than a year now since mom passed. And there are times that I sit down and I'm like overwhelmed by so many things, and I'm thinking I would have just called my mom to say, Mom, how do I deal with this? But because she is not there, I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning more to speak out to God how my feelings are. And journaling is for me, I do this every single day, whether it's Monday, it's Sunday. I wake up in the morning, and as much as I'm doing gratitude and thinking about those things, I constantly write my thoughts, write my feelings. When I'm upset, I write it down. When I'm happy, I write it down. And for me, that's how I'm still on this journey, but that's how gratitude helped me and is continuing to help me deal with this.
Wow, because actually what we choose to focus on, because in today's short video, I have captured that pain does happen, and sometimes we have no control of the events that happen in our lives. But we don't have to really suffer. Suffering is a choice we make because of the meaning we choose to give events that happen in our lives. Because you can either give it an empowering meaning or a disempowering meaning. I know for you, you've actually given it an empowering meaning, and that's why you're here today to tell us that story. You have actually shared that you starting your channel, the YouTube channel, was inspired by the passing on of your mom. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, as I said, because my mom was diabetic, and as I said, it's also like something sadly which is genetic. And being a nutritionist myself and understanding some of the way in which diabetes can be managed. Of course, she had type 2 diabetes and not type 1, which of course one day, hopefully, I can be able to talk about the differences. And type 2 diabetes can actually be mostly managed through lifestyle. And she was doing really well trying to manage it through lifestyle. But of course, nobody knows what happened in between. And of course, again, I can't go much into details with that.
Yeah.
And so as I was thinking about it, I was like, I teach nutrition to people.
Yeah.
I am a registered nutritionist, as we said at the beginning. And I have quite some knowledge about these things, and sometimes thinking about how lifestyle can make a whole difference. And again, as I said, I pray to God every single day that He protects me and He gives me a long, good life. But it might not necessarily be like what if I wake up one day and go to the doctors and they say to me, you have diabetes. So that's something that, of course, I know beyond doubt. Genetically, I have a predispositioning, but I can do something about it with my lifestyle and praying to God that He protects me and gives me a diabetes-free life, which is something that I believe He can do it. And so I thought about it and I said, do I just keep my knowledge that I have teaching students in 4 corners of my class, which I'm paid to do that for sure. But then I thought, after my mom passed away, I thought there is something for sure that I want to share with people. And I'm a great believer that you don't have to rob the bank. That's what I usually say, to live a healthy life. I am currently, this week, I've tried to do exercising from home. I've exercised in my garage. I've exercised behind the door of my living room, because I believe that you don't need a lot of space to be able to exercise. You don't need a lot of equipment. And thank God for YouTube. There are so many different things that you can follow. And so I thought I said, and sometimes people really post on stuff on YouTube that you'll be like, really? But then I feel like those of us who we have been privileged to invest years, maybe of research, experience and studies and things like that, it is our responsibility to also try to share with other people. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be able, because initially I had day before yesterday was the 3rd anniversary of my YouTube channel. And literally I was posting only and hiding stuff for my students, because I was like, I don't need to be on social media. I don't need to do all these kind of things because I want to live my life in private. But when my mom passed away, I said to myself, I want to go out and share with people simple ways that you can actually change your lifestyle and how that can actually change your life. And that's hence why the reason why I am now sharing. I don't do much of editing. We were talking about it because I'm like, I want to be real. I want to be authentic. I want to show you that you don't need a made up life to live healthy. You can I run because I don't pay a dime to go running. It's my legs that take me running. And I believe you can still walk. You don't need to pay to walk. You don't need, as I said, you don't need to pay to run. If I'm doing exercise on YouTube, I'm basically using Wi-Fi, and sometimes it doesn't work always, but it's a learning process. So hey, if you're out there and you're on the fence thinking I need to go to the gym like Abby to be able to exercise, no, you don't need to do that. Use the resources that God has given you. And there are simple things like now we've been doing a hydration challenge, literally with a dozen of us, just telling people you need to drink 2 liters of water. How many of you today have drunk 2 liters of water? Chances are maybe you haven't done that, but it's kind of remembering just those simple little things that seem to be so simple and silly, yet they make a whole difference. And that's what I'm all about. And I'll keep quiet now.
Wow, I really love that. And to our viewers, you can hear that beautiful story and the big why. I'm also a firm believer in a why. If you don't have a reason, a why that you can attach to what you're doing, the commitment will keep wavering. But if you have a reason, for example, right now I've been doing home exercises for years now. The reason I've gone to the gym is that I have one goal to just, my tummy area has been misbehaving, not aligning properly. So I thought I need some help. And investing in myself is something I have loved to do. But you don't have to go to the gym. You can do it at home. I lost, 15 kg just at home. So I didn't go. I ran, I walked, and did YouTube exercises, and they work for me. And my sister Claire has also been doing that. So invest in yourself, just build your life, but also follow this beautiful girl, my friend here, on her YouTube channel. I said I will, write it down on the description box so that you can follow it. And with your permission, I will actually share the link to your weight loss journey. It's a short one. So just for our viewers to know what are we really talking about, but also visit her channel to get to know much more, to hear more about food, because for her, she will help you to better your lifestyle, better your nutrition. Here, I will help you to better your life in terms of mindset. So both of us are working to improve the qualities of lives, but in different areas. And so I just love doing this together with you, and I'm so grateful. And so that I don't keep you here for so long, let me just have some remarks on what you said. You see, one of the things I know is that the meaning we give to life is very important. Something that happens, you see, for you give it a meaning. You said, now my mom has passed on, she had diabetes. How can I help other people not, go through the same and lose their life? So you gave it an empowering meaning. For someone else, they choose depression. And I use the word choose deliberately because it's a choice. It's a choice that we really have to make. Sometimes you tell people that and they feel like you're really not feeling their pain, but it's something that we have to deliberately because things happen in life. And so even today on our day 19, as we are talking about gratitude for the past pains, we are just saying there is so much to be grateful for. A hard time can leave you empowered. A hard time can actually teach you so many things. So, what happens in our lives is not really what affects us, but the meaning we give to it, our perception. So if we can choose a positive, empowering, meaning, then we can have our pain or our difficult time just, take our lives to a better level, so that we will say, yes, this happened, it was unfortunate, I didn't enjoy it, I didn't like it, I wouldn't even wish it on my worst enemy. But then it gave birth to this beautiful person that I am today. And so like my sister Claire here, you see her now helping the world, people just tuning in and learning so much. So let's take it upon ourselves to also not drown into depression. We have been in a season where mental health is being emphasized. Let's take care of our mental health by not drowning ourselves into stress and things that will destroy our lives. So having said that, what would be your parting shot? And just before your parting shot, Claire is also running a 100 days, hydration challenge on her channel. And she's making us do these squats, 100 squats every day, and intermittent fasting. So we are getting better here. So join us and enjoy. You'll find more details there. So thank you so much, Claire, for that. And now, onto your parting shot. What would you want to leave our viewers with today?
Wow, Abby, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you today and just being able to talk to your viewers and people that God has created for a purpose. And Abby mentioned this as she was talking about our bodies. Our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And I believe that God, I usually say, it's like for me, when I became a mom, nobody gave me a manual and said, Claire, this is the parenting manual. You will do ABCD to end up with a child. If they don't sleep in the night, this is the pill to wake up, to make them sleep. If they're crying, or if they throw up a tantrum in the shop, this is what you do. Nobody did that. Yeah. But even though nobody did that, I've discovered things as I go along. And every single day, I'm becoming a better mom. And hopefully every single day, that's my goal and that's my desire. And it's the same thing with our bodies. God gave us these bodies, but He never gave us a manual of how to look after them. Like in many countries around the world, they have like eat well guides or recommended daily allowances that you need to eat and things like that. But those are guides. They're not like the ultimate guide that you need for your life. But when you rediscover and decide and say, I'm going to partner with God and understand, why has He created me? Why is my body the way it is? Why am I a woman? Why am I this age? Why am I this, those kind of things. Like your height, you can't change it, but you can change your weight. You can't change the fact that you're a woman, but you can celebrate your womanhood and use it for God's glory. And so just as a parting shot to remind you that it doesn't come with a manual, but you can make it yourself. And you can ask God every single day you wake up in the morning, how can I glorify you through the body that you have given me? If you're eating and maybe you're struggling with self-control and you're like, when you see food, it's like your worst enemy, you can pray and say, this is my problem, God. I can't stand a cookie. I can't resist it. Would you give me the wisdom to run away and flee from the temptation? And if you're finding maybe exercise seems something very difficult for you, you can still be able to live a healthy life without exercise. The only thing that exercise, of course, does, it will help you with things like mental health and things like that. But if you kind of, in a way, just think calorie in, calorie out, everything keeping it the same, you will maintain your weight. Calorie in, less than calorie out. At the end of the day, you will lose weight because what you're eating is less than what your body requires. But calorie in, more than what your body needs, you will definitely gain weight. And so you can literally play around with your diet, and that can actually make you or break you. So as I live this, my cry and my desire is always that we will be able to live 3 John 2, which says, beloveds, above all, I pray that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your souls prosper. And my prayer and always is like, Lord, how does it mean my body to prosper as my soul prospers? So every single day, just ask yourself and prayerfully think about it. If you're a Christian and believe in the power of prayer, if you're struggling with weight, you can pray about it. If you're struggling with self-control, is a fruit of the Spirit, and just kind of in a way encouraging yourself and saying, irrespective of everything, I want my life, I want my body to glorify God.
Wow. What an amazing parting shot. And I just hear what you're saying, and I just feel that maybe really somebody needed to hear that. And if you're this person who really needed to hear that, you have heard it now. Like they shoot that gun at the beginning of a race. Just start. Begin from where you are. Keep walking. Don't stop. I always say it's baby steps. Walk until you get to where you're going. And so we continue with our gratitude challenge as we also support my sister Claire on her hydration challenge and the many other things that she does. We continue to better our lives, better our lifestyle, and become the best versions of ourselves. We have so much that we plan to do with my sister Claire, so we'll talk more about nutrition, about lifestyle, about exercise. So just consider today, subscribe to the channel, show some love to these 2 girls, subscribe to both channels. I will put the link to her channel on my description box. Just go there and look, just see what she does, subscribe to her channel, subscribe to this channel, support us so that we continue to grow and reach more people with the message of transformation. And so with that, thank you so much. Love you as always. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So
you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we just tell our viewers, bye. See you.
Bye-bye. God bless you. Bye. And catch up with you soon, my dear sister. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.